What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and today we're doing the Tier 5 tier list of Legion TD2 units. And as always, I will be doing my opinion first. I'll be ranking how I like the units, how I feel they are in the current meta, maybe how I like or dislike them. And then after I'm completed with my tier list, I will then go over the win probabilities and then stack the units in the tier list based on wherever their win percentage would place them, whether they're S tier, like way over 50%, or D tier if they're like way in the low 40s or something like that. All right, let's start with Antler. Super good unit. It's an aura unit. It's a great natural tank. Overall, like I feel like I've got to put it pretty high. I'm going A tier right after the start. I don't think it's quite S tier, but I do think A tier is fair just because, I mean, it's one of the best auras in the game. You've got gates. You can put any tank in the world on it. You could do like Giga Sovereigns, Giga Zerkers with Tree of Life, and then the White Mane, Chieftain Cheese units with the White Mane. But I think what can't give it the S tier is it's not like you can run your entire game around it. It is an amazing support unit, an amazing tank, but I don't think it quite hits that S tier echelon. But I think Antler's great unit. Leave it alone. I like where it's at. Berserker. I used to really like Berserker more than I probably do now. I don't think it's great, just because like all those waves you think it's gonna cook on. Like wave 10, yes, it's still probably the best unit in the entire game on wave 10, right? Like Fatalizer wave 10 is incredible. But I feel like 13, 18, and 20, it has fallen off with so many nerfs over time. And I'm gonna sort of skip ahead and say Halo the same way. So I just don't feel like I can put an A, but I don't think I need to overreact and put it in C tier. I think it's fairly balanced. It does have its good waves, but it's not a slam dunk on any of like I said, 13, even 16, 18, 20. It used to be like A, if not S tier at some point. But I feel like now it's fairly well balanced. Maybe it's even a little weak for what it's supposed to do with the ramping damage. But Berserker's okay. It's good. I like it. I play it a decent amount. But I don't think I'm automatically going to win games because, oh, I've got that perfect cover for that wave. No, not really. Not really. All right, Disciple is going to be easy. I mean, it's literally one of the best units in the entire game. Yes, it does synergize with my favorite unit, Crab Warlocks. It does synergize with Crab Warlocks. The amount of things you can do with Disciples is crazy. You could literally have Starcaller and just Disciples on the Starcaller aura. You could have Steeds, you could have Sovereigns, you could have Gates. I mean, every mana unit in the game you could put on that, and there's probably a 30 or 40 unit. Well, no, there probably is close to 30 units, right? That's not crazy. There might actually be 30 units. I might be just going crazy. There's a lot of units that mana works with, okay? And it pairs well with Magician. So you can literally have like the strongest Magician overpowered thing. Come on. Who doesn't like Disciples? It's amazing. There's not much more to be said about them. Just make sure you're using the aura correctly, and you're chilling. I mean, it's pure ability damage from the big shot. It does hit bosses hard. It hits those big waves hard, and it can even still be good on like the AOE waves, right, where there's lots of creeps. If you have a ton of Disciples, so it cooks. Gun. I don't know about gun. Like, I'm gonna let you know I'm right in between A and B. I'm right in between A and B for gun right now, and I don't know which way I want to lead. I think I'm gonna go A because I think gun is better than Zerker, so I have to have it a tier above. I mean, it's an okay start, you know. Like, I don't start it that much, but when I do, I still feel like the games go pretty well. It lost that upper echelon like a long time ago. I don't even know if a lot of you guys are going to be new players, and you're not going to know this. The gun originally would do more damage, sort of like it's exactly like a catapult. It would do more damage the farther away units were. So if you had it absolutely at the farthest range possible, it was doing the maximum amount of damage. And if the units were attacking the gun or like one tile away, it was doing the lowest amount of damage. And it was a huge difference. Now, gun is just the same damage. Right? It's just the same damage, it just needs to be in the range. It's still good damage, but I don't think it's an S tier anymore. And Ram's hurt it pretty bad. I think Ram and it losing that super damage effect is what definitely drops it from S tier. But I still think it's a really solid unit. You can build your game around it fairly easily. And as long as you have like one magic unit, I mean, when are you really that weak? Like, yeah, you're weak on 13, 15. That's about it. I mean, yeah, 18, but even 18, you're not that bad with the gun. So, I don't know. I think gun's solid. Nightmare. D tier. Yep, I'm doing it. This unit is almost unusable in the current meta. I used to love Nightmare Butcher. I used to love it. It was like my favorite combo. Like, everybody would ask me. Dan Wolf and Shadowwings would always like, tell me to play Nightmare Butcher. Tell me to play Nightmare Butcher. And it worked until they kept nerfing it and nerfing it. And it just sucks now. So number one, first things first, it has no HP, right? Yes, its damage is amazing. But it has no HP. So if it gets targeted, it's toast. Number two, it gets targeted randomly because it's faster. There's something in the dang system that will have a Nightmare that's behind a unit run in front of things and get targeted first. It is so insane. That's the second thing. The third thing, from my perspective, it's completely unusable without an aura. If you don't have an aura, you can't use the unit. Okay, and I'm gonna just skip ahead and tell you, every one of these other tier 5s can be used without an aura. This is the only unit that you really are risking your whole game. If you don't have Butcher, if you don't have APS, if you don't have Ocean Templar, if you don't have Tree of Life, if you don't have something, or even Dark Mage, right? You need something to help the Nightmare. If it's just a Nightmare and a Doppelganger by itself, you're cooked. Good luck. This unit stinks right now. And it sucks because it used to be like the OG, you know? Used to be you'd play Forsaken, one of the legions, and you would know exactly how to do it. You'd go your Nightmare, and then the Butcher, and then the Guards, and then the LOD for your 15 and 11. Nah, Nightmare, you stink. You know what? While we're on that parade, put POTA in S tier. Priestess of the Abyss, you're going in C tier right now. Not D tier, I won't jump that crazy. What did they do to her? Why so many changes to POTA? You broke my heart. She was my favorite unit. She was my Crab Warlock for the first 2 years I played this game. And then what happened, okay, I'll be honest, is people abused her in Classic. In the 4v4 mode, Priestess of the Abyss was the ultimate cheese. You would chieftain her, you'd have a bunch of Desert Pilgrims, or upgraded to Lost Chieftains, giving her huge buffs so she had crazy HP, and then you would have a ton of steeds, and she would face tank everything. And the mana would give her heals. The mana would give her heals. And the heal would be so massive because she has so much HP, she would never die. You wouldn't lose a single unit. It was the coolest thing ever. But people abused it. Okay, people abused it in Classic. And so what they had to do, unfortunately, is make her worse in the entire game. Yeah. So now she gets a flat rate heal as opposed to missing HP or whatever, or an HP percentage amount. It's just, she's not what she used to be. Even with POTA Mask, I'm not even that excited to use her. Also, I play a lot of Fiesta, so I have stepped farther away from POTA, where you don't really want a Fiesta with POTA, in my opinion. Yeah. Not a fan of what they did to her. And let's have the Halo join the POTA in the C tier. And it sort of has the same thing that the Berserker had, where the supposed strong waves of Radiant Halo, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like Halo on 10 doesn't even hold for me anymore. Theta, yes. Theta does its job on 10. It still has 10. I'm still happy with the Wave 10 performance of Finalizers. Halo? Arc of Justice? No. It's not holding big sends on 10 anymore. And these are the same gold. So yeah, they're the same gold cost. Same gold cost, right? They're both supposed to be super giga single target damage. And Arc of Justice is underperforming compared to Fatalizer. And the same thing, it's underperforming on Wave 20. It's underperforming on Wave 18. I don't know what they're doing to these single target damage units. Like what are they doing? These three right here are getting weaker. But there are still some good things with it. If you have Flying Force, with Leviathans, it can still work. But I'm still not putting it in B. I still think it belongs in C tier. I'm sorry. Halo, you're C tier. Please let me know what you guys think. Am I overreacting to some of these units? Am I placing them too low? Or am I reacting convincingly? Because I think it stinks. I think it stinks. These changes are making these units worse. Tier 5s are getting weaker and weaker, except for the Aura units. My Aura units up there, right there. Bingo. Those are my two juicers. My two juicers. All right. Iron Scales. I love Iron Scales. I'm going to go with A. I'm going to go with A with Iron Scales. An amazing arcane tank. No, it does not have an aura. I get that. But I think we have to give a little love to arcane tanks. I mean, arcane tanks at the end of the day are, from my opinion, probably the most important in the entire game. As 7 and 8 probably causes the most king damage early. Although 6 is definitely on the rise right now. Wave 6 is nasty. I've been getting my butt kicked on Wave 6. But 7 and 8 for a long time have been the nasty early waves. And then 14, 15 in the mid game. Guess what? Those are arcane, right? And there's a lot of impact arcane needed on those waves also. So yeah, I love Badgers. I think they're the right unit. They actually have the most HP in the entire game, I believe, for a tank. And I like Tree of Lifing them. Supposedly people say it's not worth to Tree of Life them, but it just looks cool. It just looks cool. I versed this guy recently. And on Wave 14, his Iron Scales with Tree of Life tank 24,000. 4x. I believe it has 6,000 and change health points. And it tanked 24,000 because of the Tree of Life. And it was still alive. It was the coolest thing. I think we lost the game, but it was still cool to see. You know? Yozora. Give me a sec. It's either A or S. It is a Swift tank. It does have late game potential because of the pure damage. Has the slow effect. When is it bad? When is Yozora really bad? Right? Is Yozora bad enough to drop it into A tier? Or am I gonna go Yozora S tier? I love Yozora, man. I really like it. I used to call her Yozira when I first started playing the game. I feel like I'm gonna put her right there. I don't think I can quite do S tier. S tier, I think, for me is just for Disciple at this point. Great tank. Can spam them. The slow effect is cool. The late game is amazing. Very few weak waves. When you think about it, since the pure damage, yes, they are swift, so that makes them weak as tanks, but the additional things makes it way better. I like my Yozoras. I do. Because I love playing for overtime, right? I love playing for wave 21 onward, so if you have a 21 onward unit, I'm going to be in love. Pulsebot Skybot. I need to not be too biased here, but we've got a lot of room here. Oh, nope, right there. We've got a lot of room here in this A tier. I think it's an A tier unit. I love the ability damage thing. I mean, all of its damage is ability damage, right? Yes, it is AoE, but it still smacks pretty hard. The only downside is that I will say I don't like opening it, but other people have opened it and it works really well. I personally don't like opening Pulsebot. But I think in the early mid to late game, this thing is juicy, right? Honestly, one of the weirdest things I've seen lately is I build it on wave 19 and it cooks. Wave 19, it is impact fortified and it's supposed to be pierce fortified. And for some reason, they're just so good. And that's without flying force, without a rogue wave, without APS. I think they're a really good unit. I really like the pull spot. I think they're a solid unit. I think they're pretty solid. But I think that wraps it up for my opinion side of this. Disciple, you belong in S tier. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. Gun, really close. New unit pull spot is great. Yuzora, it's always going to be an OG for me. And it's still good. It hasn't gotten hit by these baloney nerfs. At least not that I've seen. Or that have been game-changing. We got the Aura from Antler. One of the best arcane tanks in the game. Fade Lives are wave 10. That's the only reason it's getting B. That's the only reason I'm putting it as B is because of wave 10. That's it. POTA's getting her butt nerfed off. Nightmare's on the downslope. Halo's also on the downslope and getting nerfed. Yeah, feels good. So this is going to be my opinion. And now we can jump into the win percentage probabilities. All right. Now that we have that reset, the number one worst, right? The worst unit of tier 5s is going to be Priestess of the Abyss. Right there in the D tier. I guess I gave her a little bit too much love. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, if you keep nerfing a unit, they're going to get worse. What do you expect to happen? You know? It's just not as strong anymore. I won't get too much in my soapbox. Just in case you were wondering, this is based off the last 4 patches. That is how I generated the win rate from 1600 elo and above. It's the basis of sample size that Drakbot uses. But yeah, Priestess, I'm not surprised. I mean, she needs some help. She needs some reversion. Revert her back to her old stage, man. Don't let the classic gamers affect rank gamers, okay? Because that's what happened. Sad. The second worst unit of tier 5s. Nightmare. Nightmare. All right, we're keeping you in D because that means I got it right. Once again, not surprised. Not surprised at all. These, I feel like I got an A++ on these. Nightmare's just getting worse over time, and POTA keeps getting nerfed. So, not too surprising. And just one thing to say on Nightmare. A long time ago, when I first started playing the game, you would never, ever send Doppelbutcher Wave 12. Never, ever, ever try it. In the last year, people send Doppelbutcher Wave 12 all the time, and it leaks all the time. It no longer has strong waves. It has good waves, okay, but there's certain units that like you just can't send that wave, right? Like Starcaller Steeds. You can't send 15, right? You would never do that. Flying Force Hades, you would never send 15. A Doomsday with APS, you would never send that 14. And that used to be the same thing. If you had Nightmare Butcher with the double buff, right? How could you ever send that wave 12, right? Well, you can now. It stinks. All right, the third worst unit of tier 5s is Antler. All right, that kind of threw me for a loop right there. I didn't expect that one. Antler is the third worst. Okay, 47.4%. I didn't really say the win rates, by the way. 44.7 for Priestess, 46.4 for Nightmare, 47.4% for Antler. That surprises me. I'm not gonna lie. That one kind of hit me hard. I definitely missed on that one. Not gonna take any shots at people, but I did recently see a build that had 6 white mains surrounding a white main. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. It had 6 white mains surrounding a white main. Okay, just saying that's kind of a whoopsie, right? You don't get any extra buff for putting white mains on white mains. Just like you wouldn't put star callers on star callers. But so be it, Antler. Got to get that win rate up, buddy. Buff it. It'll help my win rate. The next worst, Iron Scales. Okay. Iron Scales? Iron Scales? Really? I wouldn't have expected that one. Okay. Yeah, no, the Sand Badger, Iron Scales, man, that stinks. I guess I should be calling this the Badger, right? But Iron Scales just has my heart. Like, I'm always trying to make it into an Iron Scales. Dang, dude, 48.5%. Surprising. Okay, so be it. Next up, we have Yozora, tied with Iron Scales. So they're tied together. They have the same win rate at 48.5%. I mean, a lot of these are tanks, right? All these C tiers right here, win probability based, 47 to 48.5%. They're all tanks, right? So maybe people are just putting a little bit too much love into the tanks and not enough into the damage. And just so we know, Nightmare and Priestess is no longer damaged. So just so you know, I know they're in D, they're not damage, right? They are not. All right, well, that was some surprising numbers right there. Okay, so be it, so be it. The sixth, maybe we'll get some better win percentages here. The sixth is Berserker, 48.9%. I'm gonna put that one in B. That's close enough to 50 for me, and it means I'm right. Not surprised. It's still a decent unit. It's just not like a carry unit on certain waves anymore. And it kind of has some damage, right? Certain waves it has that scaling ability damage thing, and it does do damage. But it really depends. It really depends. And next up, we're getting to the higher ups here. We have Pulsebot, 49.2%. Pulsebot, we'll keep that in the B tier. It's still below 50%, so that's pretty relatively balanced, I would say. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's a newer unit. The win rate isn't too abusive. It's not too bad. I mean, it's a pretty well balanced unit, I'd say. It was really strong at first, right? And they had to. Actually, it wasn't really strong at all. They had to tweak it, right? They had to tweak it a couple of times. Too strong, too weak, too everything. But I think now I'd say it's in a good spot. Pulsebot, Skybot, flying almost to 50% win rate. Radiant Halo, 50.8%. I'm gonna throw up. I'm shocked. That one, I don't understand, to be honest. I might have to go back to Drakbot and check out those numbers. Radiant Halo, 50.8%. I've got nothing. The only thing I would say is back in the day when I first started playing, right? I'm really going back and I'm feeling old, guys. I'm feeling old. A couple of years streaming and making content now. I'm feeling it. I was always told to send dinos on ranged waves. That was like the best send. Halo would pretty much shred dinos, right? Halo's going to shred dinos. So I'm going to blame this win rate on people sending dinos into Halos. That's probably what it is. That's the only thing it could be. Probably has nothing to do with how I play and everything to do with how other people play. But hey, A tier for a Halo. Impressive. The second best tier 5 in the last 4 patches is Disciple. Oh, I'm putting it in S tier. 52 is high enough. I'm counting that for me. 52.4% for Disciple. 100% expected. Not surprised at all. It's one of the best. I mean, you literally could just build Disciples only, and you'd probably do pretty good. All right, you could do a 1 unit only challenge with Disciple and Star Callers, and you would kill everything before it even got to your board, to your units. So, not surprised. And the number 1 must be Gun then at 53.8%. 53.8%. Your best unit, tier 5s, is going to be Gatling Gun into Vulcan. Wish I'd put an S. Wish I'd put it in S tier, not A tier. You know, I was close. I had it really close there. But yeah, Gatling gun in S tier. Not too surprised. I mean, it's good to build your board around, like I said. There are certainly some weak waves, but if you literally have one magic damage unit, like one LOD, I guess one Halo, right? One Halo, since people are saying Halo's good. It'll cover your weak waves pretty decently. And let's not forget Looter Gun. Looter Gun, you guys remember it? But yeah, okay, that's gonna do it. That is the win probabilities. I think I did pretty decent. Really good on Nightmare and POTA. Not so good on Halo. And then I guess I could have been better on Yozora, on my C tiers. My C tiers should have been in my A tiers. The tanky units did a lot worse win probability than I would have guessed. But what of these rankings surprised you guys? Please let me know. And almost done with all the tiers. We have tier 6 coming up next. And that'll be the end of the series. So please let me know what other tier lists you'd like me to make after we finish this. But thank you for watching. Please like. And all I want to say is, Priestess, you suck!